If you enjoy this content, please take a moment to rate and review it. Your feedback will greatly impact our ability to reach more people. Thank you.
All right, back in the studio. How's it going?
Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm doing well. I'm out next week, and the week before, some time off is always chaotic.
Yes.
So I'm in the middle of that sort of chaos, but I'll get on the plane Friday night. And
Yeah.
we'll be on. So.
Yeah, I'm not far behind you, and I feel what you're saying. It's like, but I do think there's something about getting older as a professional where you realize, like, okay, when you see a vacation coming up, you start just kind of drawing a line. Like, here is what I need to ship, and everything else has to
is after,
right? You know, so I feel like a little mature about that part.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to tell people things like I've been talking to a couple of founders, super interested in the deals, but just the reality is, like, going to be out for the rest of May, come back, crazy conference season for me for 2 weeks, two State Hospital Association keynotes, then HFMA, and then it's the last 2 weeks of the quarter. I got to focus on closing out the quarter, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm not going to be able to look at a deal until July.
Right.
Just kind of how it is. So, and that's not even AI psychosis. That's just like basic.
Right.
That's just basic.
Just calendar.
Life.
Yeah.
Busy week as always.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. I think we have a pretty tight show. Not as many stories.
It's tight.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Yeah.
It's eventful.
Yeah.
But it's tight.
Right.
All right, let's get into it. Let's jump in. Okay, so starting with inflation. Inflation soared to 3.8% in April, driven by gasoline prices. Nothing surprising here. The core, pretty stable. It's just kind of gas prices, right?
Yeah, that's right. Energy prices are up, obviously, because Hormuz is closed. I think everyone expected this, and it happened. The question is it going to filter through to the core? And I think, yes, if it lasts a long time, no, if it doesn't.
So I feel like on one hand, I've been able to get away with this. So here, I drive a hybrid. The apartment complex that I'm in actually gives us charging for free, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So, like, I have not felt it at the pump when I'm in Mexico City. All I do is walk.
Yeah.
Right. So, the car I haven't felt, but oh my God, airplane tickets.
Yeah.
Which I
do a lot
of time on planes.
Right.
Like, holy cow, Vic.
Yeah.
I
have four cars I'm filling up. So I've felt it at the pump.
Yeah.
It's definitely more.
Yeah. So I haven't really gotten away from it. So nothing about this surprises me. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what there is to really say about it. I mean, everyone's still driving. You know, the planes are still full.
Yeah. I mean, if the war somehow ends before 4th of July, say, or sometime in July, I think this will be fine. The core inflation won't go up that much.
Yep.
Maybe it'll be a blip and down again. If it lasts for a long time, there's going to be trouble across the globe. It'll be expensive here, but other places won't even have power. But I think that won't happen. We'll see.
Yep. So this next article from the Wall Street Journal, prices at the pump are wiping out wage gains. Americans' hourly wages are up. The problem, inflation, is up even more. I do have to say, like, when I extrapolated the travel costs over a long period of time, it did concern me about, like, my budget.
Yeah.
You know, even some basic things, like, so when I do a speaking gig, I pre-negotiate the full blown travel costs, right? So here's the speaking fee, and then, like, it's basically like a stipend, right? It's like here is your travel cost stipend.
So you can get there any way you want,
correct,
but you can only pay X,
correct,
$3,000 or whatever, some amount of money,
correct.
Yeah.
And they put you up in the hotel, so you don't
so
you don't pay for that, but you do pay for the flights, always the Uber, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the meals. That's your basic kind of travel cost. And
do you always have the same? You try to get the same stipend, or it's negotiated deal by deal?
It's generally the same. There's kind of an industry standard for it, right? Okay. Because everyone tries to make it pretty simple. It's a little more than what you would spend, right? That's the whole point. The point is for you to not be like, hey, this didn't even cover to make it easy.
Right.
But I have
now
to say,
the costs are going up.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Correct. Yeah, like I'm starting to book some of these, and I'm like, wow, that, you know, if there was a little, you know, a couple $100 left over, not anymore. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, wiping out those gains, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Kevin Warsh is confirmed as Fed chair in a 54 to 45 Senate vote. Not close. No one thought it was going to be close. This was a shoo-in. And now the fun begins, right? Now we see what kind of Fed chair we have for a while. Now we see what kind of Fed chair we have for a while.
I mean, he's going to be tested in the first meeting because, as we just talked about, there's going to be high inflation. It'll be unclear how stable that is, or if it's going to be up for a long time, and he's going to have to make a decision. I think AI is definitely deflationary in general. Technology is deflationary in general, but the time frame of when that has effect on pricing and when oil prices come down is not at all clear. So yeah, we'll learn pretty quickly how he navigates that.
I saw a clip from one of the higher ups at the New York Fed talking about how with the AI potential overheat, right? Have you noticed that the conversation around the AI overheat is starting to really get some consensus? Is that something you've noticed as you're listening to?
Are you talking about sort of the stock prices or the data center build, or
a little bit of all of it?
Okay.
A little bit of all of it, but just the idea that the valuations are way out in front of the results, right? There's a lot of scrutiny around the results right now.
Yeah.
And I always have to remind myself because every time I hear it, I think about my own personal experience. I think about things like our budget, right?
Yeah.
And how I'm there's no way I could have produced the complexity of the budget we worked on this year in the time that I had to do it without AI or some of the investment memos we've worked on recently, right? So I'm feeling the productivity. It's not in a way I can report. I'm certainly getting a higher volume of work done because of it than I would otherwise. Having said that, they don't care about me. They care about these really, really big organizations where work gets done by consensus and through value chains inside of organizations. And it's the one thing I do have to say about AI, and I do find this even in our small organization, is in an individual contributor way, you can get massive gains, but coordinated gains are pretty difficult to get. Coordinated gains are pretty difficult to get, where it's 3 people working together in AI in some way that's measurably, better, stronger, faster, cheaper, whatever. It's more complex. It's more complex.
There's no question it's more complex. And I think the discussion of will AI take jobs or not take jobs confused the topic for a long time. I think the reality is AI is taking over various tasks that are part of my job, and then other tasks it doesn't really help that much. And so when you bring that to a large organization, I mean, I'm looking at the building where Amazon is right now, but any business that has lots of people, they need to rethink how do their teams work together? What is the right number of tasks for someone to do in a month or a quarter? And all that is going to take a long time to figure out.
The other thing, before we started the show, I was telling you, I'm a little tired just because it's it's time right before the vacation. I'm just kind of a little worn out. I am getting AI barrage fatigue, and what I mean by that is even the models are not stable, right? It's okay, everyone was used to Opus 4.6, and then 4.7 comes out, and it does not behave the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I told you
I like 4.6 better.
It is better,
right.
but you don't get it by default.
Yeah, you have to select it.
So you got to select down for it, right? I mean, so you think about it's too fluid to build standards on. It's moving too fast. It's too fluid to build standards on. And big organizations, this pace of change cannot be absorbed, especially healthcare. Healthcare couldn't absorb the pace of innovation when it was at a snail's pace. It's just too fast. It's too fast. So anyway, the point that I was trying to make while we're talking about Kevin Warsh is that higher up at the New York Fed was saying that with all this stuff overheating, it's not clear that it's time to lower rates. It's not abundantly clear. So I agree. I do think he's going to have a first test where things are in such flux. There's not good data. There's a lot of uncertainty. It's on what basis do you make the principled independent call to lower rates? And that's gonna be in question. That's gonna be in question.
Yeah, there's no question that will be a hot topic of debate for the next couple of years. I think of it as Main Street and Wall Street. Wall Street, maybe it's overheated, but it's doing well, and you don't need to cut rates to help the stock market. it's doing fine. But I think that there is argument to help Main Street, help sort of regular folks that are looking for jobs and paying more as a percent of their salary and much more, at the pump and in food costs and other things.
And the cost of capital.
Yeah.
Because they're using credit.
Yeah. Right.
Right. So
Yes.
I think that's a very fair argument.
And there's no easy tool to help Main Street and not also prop up equity values on Wall Street. And so that's the challenge. Like, and typically that gets answered with, well, Wall Street's going to get rich, but we need to help Main Street. But
right
we'll see.
Now things are really, really heated up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I was listening to an episode of Bankless here recently. I don't know if you heard it, but they had like a stock market expert who like covers all the like really nerdy analyst metrics and was using sort of Buffett as a core guidepost for, like they haven't had this kind of cash position, they haven't been selling off this much, and they were running through some of the indexes, and maybe I'll like find the episode so we can like link it in the show notes, because I can't remember the details of it. But one of the points were that some of the signals of exuberance are the highest they've been since the .com boom, since 2000. Like not since GFC, since 2000.
I mean, the memory stocks and even Intel and AMD, like I think the United States is up like 5x since the country made it, I guess, an investment in Intel. Yeah, which is, that was less than a year ago. So yes, it's very frothy.
Yeah. Good luck, Chairman Warsh. Some job stories. What we got here? U.S. adds 115,000 jobs.
Yeah. So BLS came out on Friday, adding 115, which I think was generally expected and good. Unemployment rate didn't change. We talked about this the night before it came out. Jobs are holding on. Okay.
Okay. Just a real quick question, because I'm not trying to poo-poo this, but I feel like I missed it. When did BLS get stabilized? Who's leading it? Like, because I remember like the whole.
I don't know that it's. I'm not sure it's stabilized. They have their statistical methodology where they call employers on the phone and talk about like, are you hiring and what category? And then they have the different, categories, SIC codes that gets translated into what industries are hiring and not. And then they try to balance it for seasonal adjustments and other things. And all that statistical work, I think it's the best that BLS can put together, but it's not very accurate. It is wrong as we're going into recession and wrong as we're coming out of recession, to sort of hide what you actually want to know, which is a recession coming or is it ending?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to ask because
I don't think it's changed.
Yeah, I'm. Well, first of all, the sectors that they point out, I very much buy that these sectors are growing in jobs, just from our personal experience with these. I mean, healthcare, yes. Retail, I see hiring signs all over storefronts for retail, and in my neighborhood, there's all sorts of storefronts that are about to go online. Hospitality, my work with the CVC, so yes, hospitality is a hiring industry. So actually, the segments match and make sense. I'm not talking about the trends here. I'm more saying like just the validity of the numbers. I don't know. I just never heard how they resolved it.
I don't think they did resolve it.
Okay. Cisco to shed jobs for all-in AI push. The tech industry, though, is not a hirer right now.
No, I think it's a net destroyer of jobs. I mean, they're still growing
both within their own companies and also trying to destroy jobs elsewhere.
Right. Yeah. So we'll keep covering this every week. There's one layoff or two. This week it was Cisco, just to sort of monitor that. What
did it say? Oh, here it is. Fewer than 4,000 jobs, less than 5% of the workforce. So, okay. All right. It's cost up to $1 billion in severance, one-time termination benefits, and other costs. All right, add that to the list. Forget tech in Hollywood. California is powered by healthcare jobs. Another Wall Street Journal story. A state known for billionaires and high-tech jobs depends on lower-paying health work to boost its labor market.
Since the pandemic, really, the state of California has hired a lot of healthcare workers, and the rest of the categories are all pretty flat. And then this state-by-state breakdown is pretty interesting. Healthcare by itself is lifting every state by at least a full percentage points.
But California
it's
would be negative if it were not for healthcare.
That's right.
And that's remarkable. Yeah. And we keep saying healthcare is propping the whole job market up. We keep saying that. And I mean, in the largest state economy in the country, if it were not for healthcare,
they'd be losing jobs.
All right, VC rundown, ready?
Yeah.
Chromie Health picks up $2 million in pre-seed funding, launches SMS AI-powered nurse staffing agent.
Health systems manage their nurse staffing as far as schedules, who can cover if someone calls in sick. It is much more complicated than you would think from the outside. A lot of our listeners will know, but you have to have particular certifications. You have to have the right balance of nurses per patient, but it's not just nurses. There's all kinds of subtle differences in what the nurse brings that you need to have on the floor. And a lot of health systems are using Excel or a whiteboard or pen and paper. And so this company is bringing a text-based solution that's pretty interesting. It's kind of low overhead technology, just getting it to the nurse's phone. It's interesting. I don't know how it will do, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm interested in watching it. Salesforce Ventures and Echo Health Ventures backed Optura's $17.5 million Series A to track AI performance. Echo Health, that's Rob Coppage, right?
Yep.
Healthcare organizations are rapidly adopting AI technologies, but without a clear blueprint for how to measure the business value of these investments. This is not the first one of these kind of businesses I've seen out there. I've seen 2 or 3 of these. So, I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about it a minute ago. People believe that AI can drive efficiency, but it's very difficult to measure that. And so they're trying to measure it in healthcare.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen in the last couple of weeks, I don't even know if it was since the last show, but the OpenAI development company, which was basically just a big consulting firm,
right.
Made up of a bunch of other consulting firms.
Yeah.
It's just kind of an overlay certification program effectively. Because these guys, they realize, so I was telling you earlier that I was using Chrome and Claude and Excel. I had to do something pretty simple, Vic, just delete these rows. And I made a little bullet point list, and it was pretty clear.
Yeah.
It was pretty clear. Delete these rows. And it was like, okay. And then it asked for the index, and it was like, are these the right rows? I was like, yes, go. And then it did it, and it was like, hey, how come this row is deleted? Hey, why is this row still there? And it was like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, that's not working. And it said, this is a mess.
It's basically talking to itself. Yeah. It's like when I get frustrated by myself in my office and I'm just complaining, no one's there. Claude is doing that by itself.
Like I don't know. Imagine you're an employee. This is the very first time you use AI to do something simple, like delete some rows in an Excel sheet. And the very first thing it does is go, what did I do? Right. This is a mess. I'm sorry. Can you please undo everything I did and ask me to start again? Good luck, Optura. Basata secures $21 million to rebuild healthcare's operational layer, automating referrals and scheduling end to end. This round was led by Basis Ventures.
Yeah, so the referral patterns, how one physician refers a patient into somewhere else, unless you're in an integrated system, in which case it's sort of all wired up. But if you're not, and you're at a primary care doc that's not connected, it's still a pretty old-fashioned, slow, hard process, even to get your records to the doctor. Which one should I go to? Get an appointment. It shouldn't be this difficult. And so they're, from scratch, building like an operational layer to manage that. It's a good idea. It's difficult to get integrated into all these systems, but I think it could be really good.
I like these kinds of businesses.
Yeah.
These are the kind of businesses that I like. They're tough, but they're logical.
And once you get in, there's a vote if you can get it done.
Yeah. And you can fundamentally change an operational workflow. That's a good thing to go after. Urologic Health, $11 million seed financing raised for non-invasive bladder function monitoring. It's Pulse 2.0. The round was led by an undisclosed strategic investor with participation from Edge Medical Ventures, SHD Partners, Longevity Venture Partners, and other healthcare-focused investors. That's curious.
Yeah.
Who would not want to be known as the strategic investor for non-invasive bladder function monitoring?
Yeah, it's hard to know without knowing. So this is a big space. We have an investment in IO Urology, which is related, in the urology space, there's a lot of opportunity to get better diagnostics, less invasive diagnostics. So I think it's good to track.
All right. They got me with the undisclosed.
Yeah.
Google-backed Isomorphic Labs raises $2.1 billion for AI drug discovery platform. That's a Series B, by the way, with a B. And the funding round was led by Thrive Capital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is the commercialization effort of AlphaFold. So just for people in the audience, Alphabet gave away open source the AlphaFold technology about protein folding. So anyone can use that now, but they also are using that and other DeepMind technology to create new drugs. And so this is their sort of commercialization. They spun it out. Google still owns quite a bit of it, but they have outside investors now.
And Google's just a super. I'm pretty excited about I/O.
Yeah. Yes.
Are we gonna miss it? Is it next week?
It's next week. Yeah.
So we're gonna
miss it.
You will cover it the week after though, with whoever your co-host is. Please cover it because there's gonna be a ton of stuff. Yeah. Ton of stuff. All right, heading into policy. This is the story of the week. Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
FDA Commissioner Marty Makary, under pressure from Trump, resigns. I feel like from day one, this has been a storyline that we've been like not that comfortable with how this is going. Right. Is he gonna make it?
Yeah, hoping he can make it.
Yeah, man.
I was really disappointed. I mean, I'm not surprised, as you're saying, but he was a good guy that I wanted to see.
I mean,
last longer.
You could trust that he knew what he was talking about. You knew what his principles were, whether you agreed fully. Yeah. You knew what his principles were. And you knew that his principles were his own. I mean, he's an author of several books. Mm-hmm. So he's not just like some guy off the street that they're like, hey, do what we say. He had his own platform prior to Maha being a thing or any of those things. And I felt that he had, over time, found his way to be, a team player. A team player. It seems like the pro-life thing, the vape thing, the fruit vape thing, there were just some things that he needed to just go along to get along, and he too principled.
Yeah.
Too principled. So, I think this is sad. Reading the article, I will say I was glad to see that he wasn't torn down on the way out. Both Trump and RFK Jr.
They both were supportive.
Said very, very kind things about him. And he kind of did the standard honor of a lifetime, line, which is certainly true. I mean, FDA commissioner is a big deal. Now, okay, we've said we got to say there. I had a half-hour debate with our good friend Emily about this. Her position was that it had to do with all the lawyers, that the FDA is just a bunch of lawyers and, things couldn't get done, and that there was like a rift there. We've been talking about this every week. So I think where I was like, Emily, he just was not.
I mean, there's been lawyers there forever. There's going to be lawyers there tomorrow.
That was my whole point. I was like, that's not. And, oh, by the way, I think if you actually look at what the FDA has done, especially in the last 3 months, they were on a roll of rolling out, some very productive, progressive AI, digital health, fast tracking, models to streamline things. So I was like, that doesn't track with my tracking of it. I think it was just he didn't go along enough to get along, and that's why he's not there. Because that goes back to Trump 1. That's not something new, But then I sat back and I said, okay, why do I like talking to Emily? So I can just walk away fully disagreeing, or so I can actually think about what it is she's saying and where the value is in what she's saying. And I said, okay, how about this? I think I'm right, but I also think you have merit to what you're saying. Yeah. I may not fully see it because I'm so stuck on what I think, but I think you have merit. So if we were to overlay both of our theories, where would the overlap be in a Venn diagram between our two theories? And what we agreed on, which is probably not the most novel thought in the world, but I think it tracks with how the end of his tenure came up, which is it feels like to some degree like it will still be there, but there is likely to be some level of deconstruction of the FDA on the horizon, meaning the pace of change in the last 3 months might be nothing compared to what we're going to see over the next 12 in terms of the streamlining of approvals and things moving through, right? You can look at like the EPA, you can look at the CDC. It's not like there's not a pattern for this level of like deregulation, removing friction in the system and allowing capitalism to just sort of like flow at a much, much faster pace. And it seems to me that the aspect of what Emily was saying about it just being an overly lawyerly organization, it was in fact like that was in fact the legacy of it, right? The safety part of it was really
the power.
That
structure.
was the power.
Yeah.
And I think when we think about this coalition that is not just MAGA and MAHA, but is also the tech accelerants, I think they are excited about the FDA being deconstructed and defanged.
Yeah, I think to me that is a continuation, like the Chevron doctrine getting overturned, and then all of the different executive branch administrative bodies are becoming less independent, less strong, more of a subsidiary of the White House. And I think the FDA is going to be part of HHS. It already is part of HHS, but just like it's just now like Kennedy is running the whole thing, and he is largely taking direction from Trump. But you're right. There's the MAGA movement, there's the MAHA movement, and there's the tech accelerant thing. And all three of those need to be fed, need to be given more things. And the FDA sort of being, in quotes, streamlined to get things to market much faster is going to happen. I think that's right. Whether it is safe, whether every product that comes out is safe is no longer the question. And so whether that's good or bad, I think that just is.
Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like I wasn't even that aware of the whole Retta thing, and I already have people that are on it, and Chamath is like, give me my peptides, and I think that's just kind of where we're about to be. It's going to be like do what you want.
Yeah. I mean, we have people that think they already. I mean, I talked to a guy last week. He's like 32 years old, so I felt like this when I was 32, not so much when I'm 55, but. He thinks he's going to live forever. Like he has already been sort of doing all of the peptides, all of the functional medicine, all the screens. And whether he's right or not, he's doing all of these things to sort of line himself up for that. And that'll work well in some cases. And then sometimes people will take something that has side effects that we didn't know because we didn't study it long enough.
I mean, I think the stuff we're doing now with the peptides, we haven't studied long enough.
We haven't studied it long enough.
Yeah. And
so
here we go.
There's going to be repercussions. They might be fine. It might be manageable. But yes.
Right.
Yeah. So
anyway,
it's just going to be buyer beware. Like you're on your own now.
Yeah. I guess just one more word on that. It does feel like the version of capitalism that we are moving into is much more of a Wild West form of capitalism. Buyer beware is one way to put it. Yeah. But it's a little bit of anything goes. It's a little bit of anything goes. It's just kind of, hey, I got something to sell. You buying?
Right.
Why should anyone get in our way? Right.
Yeah.
Of a good capitalist transaction. Why should anyone get in our way? And
I mean, the part of that, I can't let it go. That it's because of a loss of trust. Like the basic institutions do not have the same trust, aura, presence, respect. And when they lose that, then like, why do I need somebody to the FBI? I mean, I'm doing my own testing, and I'm going to take what I want. And the Democratic side of the country should be saying, like, we need to protect the people and bring the right things, but there's not a good leader there yet, or there's not an effective leader.
I like the point you just made, because I think that erosion of trust actually makes the ascent of a new leader very difficult.
Yes.
Because the level of skepticism is just higher.
Yeah. Right. And the populism side of the Democratic Party often would be more socialist communists, I think, because of that. And so that's going to be the most likely path, which is going to be just a challenge, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you? God, I feel like we're going on a tangent, but I'm enjoying this thread. So, did you see the Mayor Mamdani pied-à-terre tax video? Did you see the actual announcement video that he did
in front of Ken Griffin's place? I mean, I've heard a bunch of people talk about it, but I haven't seen the actual one.
So,
did he really stand outside and point at the apartment?
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
There's no reason to do that. I mean, why would he bother? Why would he do that? That doesn't.
Well, no, but okay. Audience capture, right? Because what I have so far surmised about the actual tax strategy is that it's pretty brilliant. Like if he didn't poke someone in the eye and give them the very credible claim that the mayor of New York docks them in a time where CEOs are being assassinated within blocks of said apartment, right? Like if you didn't give him that very credible claim and you had just executed the thing, and then from there you'd sort of said, and now let's talk about the economic impact, and let's talk about how this is not like a broad wealth tax. This doesn't impact everybody. These are secondary properties. These people don't even live here. Like there was a really nice rationale to this, and it's actually for what he is, which is a democratic socialist. That's legitimately what he is. For a democratic socialist, it's pretty smart. It's not a crude instrument to try to get the budget balance.
And if you just make it about money, I don't think Ken Griffin gives a shit.
That's what I'm saying.
He'll pay the tax and not worry about it. It's when you point at him and make it such a big thing that then why do I need to have a place in New York? I'm not going to do it. But I agree with you. If he just rolled it out, people would have paid the tax because I want to have a place in New York.
So I give him an A for the strategy.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I give him an F because this is an unforced error. Like, you don't need to make yourself that is not a very Obama-like thing. Let me just say,
yes.
like if we're, if we're trying to
get something done.
Yeah.
What do you mean audience capture? He was trying to get his followers to be more engaged?
Yeah. You know what audience capture is? It's our stupid thumbnails that we put on our on YouTube. Right. It's like you do things because the algorithm, or you do things because the audience. It's just what you're expected to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's audience capture.
Okay.
So anyway, all right, let's move on. Vance to states: address fraud or lose federal Medicaid funding. This is going to be, because we're coming off of a week where we just saw rapid response redistricting of Republican states, particularly in the South, that never went to referendum, with very clear partisan rationale. I took a screenshot of it because I couldn't believe it. I took a screenshot of Lieutenant Governor McNally's Facebook post. Let me find this and read this for you, Vic, because I actually
Somebody in Memphis?
I'm talking about Memphis, but I'm talking about the Lieutenant Governor of
what he said about Memphis, you're saying, or what is?
Yeah. Like the Lieutenant Governor, what he said about what they did. Okay.
Yeah. So for audience that doesn't live in Tennessee, they redistrict.
How do they not know? I mean,
okay, so they redistrict one district in Memphis, which was majority black, and they cut it up so that now there's a couple districts that sort of divide that, and then all those districts are going to be red, or likely to be red.
The whole state's going to be red.
Yeah,
that's it.
Right.
And by the way, that there was the same thing they did in Nashville.
Yes,
so we already know what this looks like.
Yes,
we started with Jim Cooper, we ended with Andy Ogle. So we already we've lived this.
Right.
We know exactly what it's going to be. Right. We know exactly. But this was the part where I was like, wow. and there's a reason why I'm going before we go to this.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally on his Facebook post.
Yeah.
You know, we have passed a fair and legal congressional map that reflects the long-standing conservative character of Tennessee. The direction of our country hangs in the balance in the upcoming election. The fight for control of Congress is a civilizational struggle for the future of our economy, the security of our communities, and the strength of our nation. By passing this map, Tennessee is stepping forward to play a meaningful role in that fight. This map will ensure the voices we send to Washington represent the people of this state and advance the principles they believe in: strong borders, safe communities, and fiscal responsibility. They are being, and then there's all sorts of video footage. They're being 100% transparent that they did this for the midterms.
Right.
Like
right.
It's very
well. It's for the midterms, but it's going to last for a long time.
No. But I guess what I'm saying is they're not even spinning it.
Yeah.
They're not. There's no spin on this at all. They're just like, hey, we are redistricting to win the midterms because we have to win the midterms.
Yeah. And when you were reading that, I think it's the inverse of Madami. Like, there's no reason to celebrate like that and tout that, but I guess he's bulletproof. He feels bulletproof.
Okay, so that's the backdrop upon which we are covering what Vance is saying to the states here, right? And I think like the temperature in the country is such where would you like to make a bet about which states are going to most likely end up losing Medicaid funding as a result of this?
I mean, it's any state that didn't vote for Trump.
All right.
I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. Any blue state and coastal states, it's all the states that didn't vote for Trump. And the issue that I would say, you would say, if there's fraud and money's not helping people with health care, then we should try to fix that. That's pretty obvious. The problem becomes how do you define not so much the fraud part, but the waste and abuse part, because it's in the eye of whoever's measuring it, and what time frame are you measuring it? What's the impact you're trying to get? What's the point of this program? And you can frame many programs as wasteful or really valuable just based on how you set your timeline and goals and what you think is important. And the Republicans have found that this, because it polls well, and the Democrats don't yet know how to respond, but they need to figure it out.
Oh, that they're not going to.
Right. So it's going to be really difficult.
Have you been tracking all the all-in shows that are pumping up the California's Republican candidates?
Yeah.
So and we just did a story about how basically if it's not for healthcare, California's jobs thing is down. Well, how much of those healthcare jobs are fueled by Medicaid dollars?
A lot.
Okay. So if the Republicans don't win the governorship, right? And by the way, like, did you hear the All-In show with the guy?
I heard the first. I didn't feel the whole thing. The first half.
But the British guy, right?
Yeah.
His whole thing is fraud, waste, and abuse.
Yeah, right.
That's his whole platform is fraud, waste, and abuse, right?
And tax reform. But that goes together.
That goes together.
Yeah.
That goes together.
Yeah,
right?
You can't do tax reform unless you spend less.
Correct. Right. And so I think they have an offensive plan to try to not melt California down, because it is an important economic state for all the reasons.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is there, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right.
But they've got a nuclear button ready to go, right? Like, yo, if he doesn't win.
Yeah. And I think they're going to begin pressing the button already. I mean, before the midterms. But we'll see. I
mean, just the temperature in the country is just.
And it shouldn't be difficult in Boston or Minneapolis or San Francisco or LA or New York to say, we want the money to go to the people that it really helps, and pick anything and find something that's clearly fraudulent and fix it. Because then you get credibility, and now we save the money that's going to actually the poor people that need health care. So I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of waiver programs that I think are really valuable. And then there's no new waiver programs getting put out. And that's what's going to be, I fear that's what's going to be attacked as wasteful. When, if you can't get in the car, you can't find food to buy, you can't get prescription drugs, you can't get to the doctor. These things are important to people's health. And no one's telling that story that has any.
And maybe let's just say, I think you and I both agree there is a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse happening in the country, right? I mean, there just is. There just is. The number of spam calls I get on my personal phone every day,
right.
Okay? Like, there are scams happening everywhere in this country. Of course. Yes. And we should do things to crack down on that.
Yes.
Right? I do not want my federal taxpaying dollars to be scammed out of the government. I do not want
no question about that. And I think if you look at Tennessee or Texas or Florida, there's plenty of fraud, waste, and abuse there too.
Somewhere.
But for some reason, the Democratic Party hasn't been able to figure out how to say these things are fraudulent. We're going to stop.
Be aggressive.
We're going to stop.
Yeah.
And
well, look. I mean, okay. So let's turn back to the Democratic Party. I mean, I do think Democratic Party is captured by its own coalition, right? There's unions. There's nonprofits. There's they've got their own coalition that's captured them. I mean, there's a reason why the Democratic Party is flailing around so bad right now. It's because it needs a reinvigorated coalition. Like that's one thing you can say for the Republican Party is this is not the party of George W. Bush.
Yes,
right.
I mean, the Tea Party was a bunch of populist upheaval. And then I think Trump sort of grew out of that, but he's his own force of nature.
Absolutely.
Yes, the Democrats have to go through that process, and it's not a short process, and they haven't really started.
No, I'm still seeing Chuck Schumer on TV. I'm like, this cannot be what you're putting up here. This guy looks like milquetoast, dude. He's like nothing. He's like a plastic. I don't. Yeah.
Maybe he was super sharp 20 years ago, but he's not now.
No. Like, where is the new and by the way, quite frankly, the same goes for Bernie. I mean, I understand what Bernie represents and how it is not the same, but he's 170 years old.
Right.
Like, dude.
Yes. And the people that could step up are making unforced errors. Madami was the poster child. AOC is another poster child. She's just hard. I mean, she doesn't run in a direction that middle America really will understand, I don't think. Trump is a lot of things that are bad, but he understands what someone in middle America is going to react to.
It feels to me like Mom Donnie has a real shot, and that's why I'm so critical of the Ken Griffin thing, because it's like, dude.
Yeah, he's smart. He's got good people around him.
How about you don't do stupid unforced errors like that?
Yes, right. Yeah. I mean, I really like Shapiro, but he's quiet. Like, he's not out there really saying much. Gavin Newsom is the one emailing me every day just with crazy stuff.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
U.S. drug overdose deaths fall for the third straight year. Fatalities declined in 2025 to pre-pandemic levels, driven by drop in opioid-related deaths, including fentanyl. So
there's a good chart here. This is a good story. We covered it last year.
Yeah,
because it was
dropping last year.
It was the first, and it's great to see it continue.
I mean, from a high of over 100,000 deaths to now get into the 70,000 range is fantastic, dude.
Yes,
that's a big chunk.
Yeah,
down.
And every one of those is a person that now has, because usually they die fairly young. This is a great story. It needs to keep going down, but the trend is really good.
And it's largely the synthetic opioids. Like that's where it got way out of control.
Yes,
the synthetic opioids was where it got way out of control, and we're really getting that back under control. So hey,
yeah,
positive story for sure. Positive story for sure. All right, so we have started the summit.
Yes.
She and Trump
are meeting, might be middle of the night now. They met today. They're going to meet tomorrow. And there's a lot of ceremony.
Yes.
Which probably is good to do for both countries. I don't know how much real talk has gone on, but you and I disagree on whether on what will come out of this. I don't think it's going to be very much. But Trump did bring like a whole contingent of really business leaders with him.
That's why we disagree.
That's, I think, the strategy is like to show like our strength in technology and entrepreneurism and growth and try to use that to our advantage.
Yeah,
that's our big.
I mean, you can call it strength. I can call it like a bunch of people who do business over there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Elon and Tim Cook and Jensen made the last, the last call.
Yeah.
It's, to me, he brought the real cabinet, the real American economic cabinet. He had Larry Fink was there, Solomon was there, Citibank was there. I mean, to me, he brought everybody because it was the start of a deal. It was because if you just look at everything, no one's really got an upper hand. I mean, you can't rapidly unwind the globalism that it took decades to put in place. Like our supply chains are very complex and we're just highly dependent on each other, whether we're talking about treasuries or rare metals or manufacturing or assembly or buyers or sellers or shipping or net import, net export. There is some mutually assured destruction here from an economic perspective. And I think that's why, and also I think the reason why I think a deal is possible is because I think Trump has already very clearly signaled and backed up that he has no long-term interest in China's region. Like he's not trying to be sovereign in the East, he wants total dominance of the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that also is de-threatening to what China really cares about, which is, China just cares about, China doesn't care about being a hegemon or a great empire around the world. It just wants to be China. And that's so I think they're actually more philosophically aligned now because they kind of want to stay out of each other's way a little bit, and now it's like, okay, well, how do we keep this thing more functional and not, screw things up too bad because they're both a little bit vulnerable, right? Like as their economies struggle, both leaders face criticism internally, and they need wins. Both of them need wins. Like that, I think if there was the ability to have a free media over there right now, there'd be a lot to say about the last 12 months, in the Chinese economy. So anyway, my feeling is they are in the beginning process of working on a deal. That's my view.
I agree that they're trying to figure out a deal. I think Trump's sort of, I'm going to call it a takeover. I don't know what else to call it about Venezuela. And then shutting down, the Strait of Hormuz. Both those things were strategically difficult for China.
Sure.
And the only place I disagree with you is I think Taiwan is an important place that we still keep as independent and not totally lose to China.
For now.
Yeah. We need probably five to 10 years.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of the point, right? Is we know it can't stay independent forever. That's not, can't.
Yeah.
Can't. So, and we're working on our own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
On that front. So I think it's more like, hey, let's kind of keep that going, for a while. And look, at the end of the day, each country's doing its own thing. It's not like a totally, unilateral deal where China's not going off and doing deals, in Africa and directly in, Latin America and all this. Like China's going to do what China's going to do. But I think let's not blow up this reasonably functional thing that we both have.
Yeah. I mean, I hope there's a deal. I mean, I'd like there to be a deal. She's going to come here to the U.S. in, I think, October sometime. So my prediction is this is like the warm up, and they'll try to get a deal like right before the elections. But I don't have any inside information. It's just what I would guess.
Move to the payers. Optum Rx replaces traditional PBM model with a fee-based structure.
This is, I mean, without Marty Makary stepping down, this would be the number one story
Correct.
to me. This is a huge story.
Correct.
PBMs were invented by the payers to help large employers and themselves make a bunch of money through very complex pricing, buying, contracting techniques. For the first 10 years, I think they saved a lot of money for the employers. But by this point, they've outlived their value, and they're so toxic kind of politically and socially that Optum's replacing it. 2027, they're going to have a very transparent flat fee, and that's the end of, I think that's the end of PBM, traditional PBM.
If Optum is out, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And we know United is very strategically aligning themselves with this administration, right? They are getting themselves out of the crosshairs so that they can operate a business.
I mean, I was personally shocked about the murder of their CEO, but for there in Minneapolis, it had to be, incredibly difficult. So they've turned, and now they're trying to really get in good graces with the administration, but also with the public opinion.
Yeah, and this is a big one. This is a big one, and it will not be the last one.
Yeah,
it will not be the last, because Optum Rx is so big that them changing this fundamentally changes what you have to do in order to be competitive. So that's it.
Right, and so the 100 startups that were trying to do a flat, transparent PBM, they missed the window.
That's it. All right, providers, yeah?
Yeah.
University of California union reach a late night deal to avert the system-wide strike. We thought this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so great. This is good. We don't have to talk about big job loss in California with the healthcare industry.
Yeah. So I mean, I think the unions have learned that they have a lot of power, and they've exercised it in California and other places. And I think that's the economy working well in my mind, as long as they get to an answer before they go on strike, which they did.
Yeah, I mean, this for sure would have shut down the system, though, because this was not just nurses. This was like all the workers that keep the place open. Right. So, I mean, I do think we need to watch for that, because this was, I think, the first story we've had where it was not a nurses union, where it was like all the other workers. This will probably not be the last, right? Yeah, especially if it's successful. Yeah. Right, especially if it's successful as a negotiating tactic. Okay, going into pharma, Hims and Hers post a $92 million loss in Q1 as it shifts to branded GLP-1 medications. I hadn't really thought about this, but of course their customer acquisition cost was not going to adjust overnight to the change that, it's like, yes, you have Wegovy and Ozempic, these great, name brands from Novo, but your CAC probably doesn't change, and I don't think your audience wants to pay that much more. So you go from, generating 45 million to the bottom line to losing 90.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think they executed a strategy to use the compounding pharmacy to get a big advantage. And that worked for maybe a year, maybe 9 months to a year. They made money. They gathered a bunch of new users, significant number of new users. And then the music stopped, and they can't keep doing that. And so they now have signed up with the branded drugs. Those cost more, obviously. It's yet to be known whether they can sort of monetize that big bump in subscriber growth over the next couple of years. But their business is a lot less profitable when they have to buy name brand drugs, obviously.
I think they'll figure this out.
I think overall it's been a good 2 years for Hims and Hers. I mean,
I think they'll figure this out. They're a very valuable customer acquisition branding channel to Novo. This kind of loss will probably give them some negotiating leverage, because I don't think Novo wants to lose Hims and Hers, right? Yeah. And obviously you can't lose $100 million a quarter.
Right.
Like that's not going to work. So I think this will all work itself out in a couple of quarters, but that's, this was the cost of getting off compounding.
Yeah, that's right.
Omada Health posts a 42% revenue jump in Q1 and joins Eli Lilly's employer weight loss program. $78 million of revenue in the first quarter, and their losses went down from 9 million in the first quarter of last year to 3 million. So they're getting close. This, adjusted EBITDA of 1 million, adjusted EBITDA of 4 million. That adjusted EBITDA number is just like
made up number.
I mean, how do you have like $3 million net loss, but $1 million of positive EBITDA? It's just like, Anyway, bottom line is these tech-enabled services are really, really expensive and really, really hard. It takes a lot of scale to actually turn a profit. I mean, can you imagine, like, as long as they've been in business, 78 million in revenue, and you're still turning a loss? Like, as long as they've been in business, Vic?
Yeah, it's well, they've broadened. I mean, they were really successful in diabetes care, and now they do all kinds of things. And some of those service lines are a lot harder than diabetes care. I think Omada Health is going to be a long-term winner, but they have some ways to go, even though they've been going. I mean, we knew them when they're private. They've been going for a long time.
Yeah, not quite the blowaway story that Hinge Health is.
Yes, that's right.
Thanks for putting this one in the lineup. I sent this over to you. So this is on LinkedIn. Taneja, how do you say his last name? I should figure that out. I mean, he's an important dude. CEO of General Cataylst. I'll get that right next time.
I thought it was Tanya, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So here's a post on LinkedIn, and it's the CEO of General Cataylst and RFK Jr. sitting down talking about HatCo, which is the health assurance transformation company, and Suma Health. This is General Cataylst's health system. They bought a health system. They're no longer a VC firm. Let's just, they bought a health system, and they are, lacing this health system that they bought with their own technology, soup to nuts, totally vertically, and they're going to fully transform what a health system might look like. That's the idea here, right? To fully create the health system of the future, essentially. Mark Harrison from Intermountain is leading the charge here, and I think it's a big deal to have RFK Jr. out there, because this kind of shows you that this is what this administration is about, right? They want transformation. They want lower cost of care. They want better outcomes. They want technology to be fully, leveraged, and
they want to keep you healthy, not fix you when you get sick.
Yeah. So this is a big deal. I continue to believe that the whole HatCo Suma Health thing is really about Epic at the end of the day. That this is about the stranglehold that Epic has on health systems, and the complaint that we hear from so many that are not the health systems, right? The health systems will never complain about Epic,
right? But
everyone else is like, you can't do anything. Right. There's no ability to do anything. And I suspect that Suma Health will not be running on Epic.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah, I mean, I think Epic is a huge part of it. I think there's lots of places in a health system that General Cataylst and HatCo want to change and re-engineer, redesign. And I'm excited to keep watching it. And you're right, they are doing this almost in collaboration with the administration, because they're at those levels.
One to watch. All right, Health and Us, your story here.
Yeah, so hearing loss is something I have gotten interested in the last couple of years. It has a stigma against wearing a hearing aid that people don't want to do. So they don't go get checked, but it really is isolating. If you're at a dinner or you can't hear the other person, it leads to loneliness, it leads to depression, and people don't get checked. But this story in the Wall Street Journal took it another step, which I had not really considered, which is that when you start to lose your hearing, the cognitive load, like your brain trying to figure out what's going on around you, goes up dramatically. And they found that people with hearing loss walk a lot more slowly because they are not. It's like when you're maybe concentrating on something, you're not able to do a bunch of other things. You can't walk as fast and keep your balance and navigate the world if you have hearing loss. And of course, walking is critical. But if that's the case, the cognitive load is draining everything about your life. And so it was just a good story to bring up to remind our audience and remind myself that hearing loss is a, it's a natural part of aging. And once you start wearing glasses or start seeing signs of age, you need to go get your hearing tested.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, as soon as you said the cognitive load part, I was like, of course.
Yeah.
And then you just start thinking about all the downstream effects of that cognitive load, right?
Right.
And that's like, whoa, I mean, it's all connected, right? I mean, I think the message here is it's all connected. No one thing is just like, oh, it's just hearing loss. It's not affecting other parts of my body, right? And when you first pulled the story up, I went to equilibrium, and you were like, yeah, Marcus, okay, fine, but like that's
not what the story was talking about. I mean, that is true, but a lot of people with hearing loss do not have balance problems. You can have balance problems, but those are separate things.
Right. Well, that's a good one to pay attention to. Okay, CoinDesk, the Clarity Act clears U.S. Senate committee on its way to a final test in Congress. I think we're going to have Clarity Act.
Yeah. Yes. This was the last real test. But now they have to kind of, whatever they do, like the Senate has one version, the House has a different version, they have to get it together. But I think Clarity Act's going to pass before Labor Day, definitely this year. Which is another
remarkable.
It's another in the like
Wild West,
buyer beware. There's gonna be a lot of things that it enables that I'm excited about.
I mean, it's great for us.
And there's a lot of things that it enables that, you need to be a little careful about. And it's just like all gas. The federal government is just going full on into it.
I mean, on this one, I do have to say that the amount of value creation that the private markets have set out to take on, whereas the public markets outside of the Mag 7 have not been doing much value creation work.
Yeah.
We've been doing all this value creation work in the private markets. We cannot get liquidity.
Right.
And like a lot of these assets are stuck. And I think the public markets, for reasons we can all track if we do a little history review, are kind of broken right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of broken, and they're not going to get unbroken. Like, you're not going to roll back Dodd-Frank, Sarbanes-Oxley.
Yeah,
like
right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a little too far down that road.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you have to open up a parallel market opportunity for these privately held assets, right? And
then the hope is that will then put pressure on the public stock markets, and everything will get better through the natural sort of competitive forces of the market. And I believe in that. And in addition, there's a lot of other aspects that people are just going to have to read the stuff carefully and pay attention. I mean, I trade crypto. I'm excited for being able to use the Clarity Act. And we're not covering it, but the Anthropic secondary market is just a train wreck right now, with all kinds of people putting together an SPV and then splitting it up 100 ways and selling it to 400 people.
And is it even valid?
And it's right. And there's a lot. And then Anthropic hasn't approved it. So that kind of stuff will be cleaned up if you have a market that is enabled with crypto or Web3, because it'll be transparent. And so there's a lot of things that I see that you see that we need something, and I'm in favor of this. And I think it just is the same trend line of where kind of opening up and bringing sort of free markets.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
This is truly like this is a game changer.
Yes.
This is a game changer.
I think a year after the Clarity Act passes, global market's going to be very different.
Super different. And then the final piece would be some much more meaningful adjustment to the accredited investor status, because Clarity Act is not going to roll back KYC. Right. So you're still going to have that whole mechanism. That will still all be there. So to some degree, you're still dealing with the same constrained liquidity pools, even though your ability to issue and sell is much more free.
Yeah.
Unless there's something about Clarity that impacts accredited investors that I don't know about, but I don't think it's going to impact.
It doesn't change that.
Yeah, it's not going to change that, right? Okay, so that's what I thought. So the next big thing would be
some rethinking of
what
is required for someone to buy illiquid securities.
Right.
I don't know that a net worth or income test is really that valuable. There's plenty of people that have a net worth above the $1 million level that don't know what they're buying.
I think
and there's plenty of people below that do know exactly what they're buying.
I think, unfortunately, because of prediction markets and sports betting, there is no good argument for why you don't let people put their money into legal securities, but you let them do sports betting and prediction markets. Like
that's what I think.
That's it. Before those things were legal and like rampant, right? So like 4 years ago, I think you had a much more legitimate argument about protecting the general public.
Yeah.
But now, no, like you don't.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think probably if you put 100 VCs in the room, 100 VCs would agree with that. So I agree.
But I think it's
true.
I think actually it's the moral argument now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's the moral high ground.
I think it'd be healthy to go to something like driving a car. Like you have to prove maybe you're in the financial services business in some way, or you take some kind of pretty straightforward test just to make sure you know what you're doing. That might be healthy, but it doesn't need to be this unattainable. You have to get to $1 million, and how are you going to get there if you're working a salary job and you can't get any savings? I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Right. Elon is pulling off a masterful pivot as he prepares SpaceX to IPO, and he is strengthening its institutional presentation through partnerships with first Anthropic last week, and this week SpaceX and Google are in talks to launch data centers in orbit, right? So we're starting to now see Elon the enabler as opposed to Elon the competitor. And it's just, look, dude, there's so much about this guy that's disappointing to me and problematic for me. Just because of how I show up in the world, Vic. Okay, I was going to call it like that.
Yeah.
But man, I'm an innovator. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an investor. And it is hard to not admire his capabilities. It is really hard to not admire his capabilities. It's difficult, you know. As a player in the game, it's like, this dude's a hell of a player, man.
Yeah,
he's a hell of a player.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I agree with the morality stuff, and I agree that he's a great operator. He's a great builder. I mean, the thing that not so much this deal, but the deal last week, you know, he built Grok AI. And I mean, you've launched products, I've launched products. When you put all of your effort into it, it's like a child or something. Like you really are passionate about it. And certainly Elon is that way. And it just didn't get the market uptake. And instead of like fighting that, he pivoted. He needs to show how he's going to get revenue in a way that's very defensible. And like an institutional investor can look at it and go through the due diligence process. And just saying like, I'll sell more Grok was not going to really work. But taking the asset he had, Colossus, and sort of licensing it, all of a sudden now he's got, I think it's $5 billion a year coming in. and then the whole thing about the data centers in orbit, you know, is the dream, is this exciting thing. But, you know, Elon is by himself talking about that. It's very different when Google steps up and says, we'll partner with you. And by the way, we've already been hardening the TPUs so they're radiation resistant. His IPO stock has gone up dramatically in the last 2 weeks. It just has.
It's remarkable. Really is. Google Android power laptops are called Google Books, and they're coming this year. I am excited about this, but as we discussed before the show, I'm always a trier. I bought that stupid rabbit device.
Yeah,
remember that?
I have one too.
Yeah. So I buy these things, man. I mean, you know, because I'm
a
geek.
Investment in learning how this stuff is going.
I'm a geek.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I have had multiple Chromebooks, multiple. And I even bought like the one that kind of looks like this one. It was like the heavy duty one. It was heavy. I think it was like the Chromebook Pixel, where I was like, oh, this one's going to be. And the thing about Google is they are just not as committed to the hardware game as Apple is. They're just not as fully committed. And so they come out with these ideas, and I'm hoping that under Sundar, this is a new era. Like I feel like I have to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that was actually in a previous iteration of Google. So I'm going to buy one.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm telling you is I'm going to buy one because I want something that's designed for Gemini with these unique chips inside, and let's see what it's got, right? And at the same time, like, I'm worried because I think it's still Chrome OS, right?
I don't know if it's Chrome OS, but it's basically I mean, the way I thought about Chrome is they sort of deprecated the value or the importance of the operating system and put everything to the cloud. That's sort of my version of why Chromebook was interesting. And I'm not sure the cloud and SaaS was fully ready to be like the only thing you used. And now this tool, which I'm going to buy too, especially if you have an Android phone, which I do, it interacts, at least says it's going to interact very smoothly with it. But this is sort of saying that the intelligence layer is, it's just going to be AI runs the whole thing. It's rumored that OpenAI is coming out with a phone as well.
Yeah.
And they're talking about it in a very similar way. Like it's a phone and it's sort of a AI enabled. And Google was talking about this in their demo, if you want an app, you sort of just get Google Intelligence to Gemini to make it for you. That's intellectually interesting. Maybe it'll work. I definitely want to try it, but I think it is, it's early at least.
Yeah. I as I told you, I'm getting fatigued with everything bespoke and new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thing. All right, final story on the AI rundown. This is from the Limitless podcast, Josh and Ejaz. This looks like, I don't know, some cartoon or anime that I watched when I was a kid. What is this, Vic?
So this is out of China. It's I think it's a 22-foot robot, weighs 500 kilograms, so 1,000 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you get inside it like a Power Ranger suit or like a cartoon. You get inside it, has a little seat, and then you can drive it from inside the robot, and it's gigantic. And they show it like knocking over brick walls and things. And then when you want to go quickly, it leans back, like almost does like a back arch to where its hands go down to the ground. So you're like, you're looking up now, and then it runs like a dog would run.
Oh, come on.
And it is scary. I think it's probably scary.
I mean, this is right out of every cartoon. This is right out of every cartoon we ever watched.
Look at it.
Oh, come on,
but he's
man.
in it.
Oh, come on, man. That's my first time watching it. Oh, come on. No.
It just like punch, and then this is where it falls down and just like starts going.
Y'all, okay, if you're listening and not watching, you're gonna have to just click on the link in the show notes, and you're gonna have to see this. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good, Vic.
No,
I like it much better in my cartoons than in
there's
real life.
There's a lot of uses for this, and all of them are scary.
Oh, so Unitree. This is a Unitree robot.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, so they have the production capacity to make them. I mean, it's
Unitree is unbelievable what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
It's just, whoo, wow. Okay, all right.
So
I got no more words.
I understand you're tired, and it's accelerating. If anything,
it's accelerating. Yeah, which is why I think it is important to take a break sometimes.
Yes.
You have got to unplug because
you can't keep up with all the news. Right?
No. This is way too much. So with that, next week neither of us are going to be here because we are on vacation. We are not going to ask guest hosts to fill in. So you guys will have to get your news elsewhere. However, we will have an episode of the show. We are going to share with you the live podcast that we recorded at the Jumpstart Health Summit. With Chris Boone, who's Group Vice President over Research at Oracle. So I think you will be really interested to hear about where Oracle is taking things with AI and healthcare. And Chris was fascinating. I thought he was a great interview. And so you have that to look forward to next week.
Yeah, Chris is great. And then I need to find a guest host for the following week, but I believe I'll be back. I want to talk about the Google I.O., so we'll definitely find something.
Yeah, I believe in you. You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, look, I will see you in 3 weeks then.
Yeah. It'll be a little while.
All right. Have a good vacation.